special episode of the Hearthstone Half Hour, apart from we're doing little playthroughs and guides of Hearthstone's first adventure mode, Curse of Naxxramas, which, if you were watching this in July 2014, has just launched. I'm Hammy, this is FailCraft Casts, hope you're well, and in this fun adventure mode, Hearthstone's first sort of single player kind of raiding adventure style experience, we are going through, in this guide, a heroic little playthrough and guide, whether we win or lose, to Grand Widow Faerlina on heroic mode. So, heroic mode, the bosses have more health, and generally you play a lot more nasty playing version of the hero, his or herself. As we fly into the game, let's take a look at Faerlina. So, for heroics, as a general rule of thumb, remember you need to beat all the bosses on normal mode before you can play them in heroic. That's the first thing you need to know. Second thing you need to know is that they start with like 45 health, which is obscene. And the third thing you need to remember is that you need to take a look at the way that the boss plays, and then if you don't have a deck that you feel can deal with it, then it's not cheating. By all means, make a deck that will counter it. So you can see Faerlina starts with 45 health. Now Faerlina's ability, Rain of Fire, for 1 mana, she can fire a missile for each card in her opponent's hand. Now each of those missiles does 1 damage. So at the moment she can do 4 damage worth every single go. So really against Faerlina, I believe that in normal mode that costs 2 mana, now it only costs 1. So she can pretty much throw that every single turn. So how do we counter that ability? We need to make sure we have minimum cards in our hand at any one time, otherwise she can just do so much damage. And look, turn 1, nope, she's gone for an Undertaker. So whenever you summon a minion with Death Rattle, the other thing that Faerlina does, as well as have that nasty hero ability, or heroine ability, is that she combos Death Rattles to great effect. She throws down a bunch of Death Rattle cards that are really very nasty. So I need to get armor. I'm going to throw down an Armor Smith. Coining into maybe a 3-drop here, and Faerlina's dropping out that Dark Cultist, so whenever that Dark Cultist dies, then another minion will get 3 health. So ideally that dies last, if at all possible. And you know what, it can die last, so I can throw out a Cleave, that will remove these 2, and then with the Execute I can drop that off the table. I would have preferred to have saved Execute for a bigger, more nasty minion, however, removing that, oh interesting. Okay, now Faerlina gets 3 attack from a worshipper rather than 1 attack in heroic mode. My goodness, that is dangerous as well. Okay, so what can we do? Well, I'm just going to have to go for another control play. Let's armor up and remove. So, hero ability costs less, and note that in heroic mode, several of her specific minions are doing nasty things. So in normal mode, that worshipper only added 1 attack on her turn. Now it adds 3 attacks, so she can do 3. That is painful. Painful. Well, here I don't really have many options. I'm not going to give Faerlina the pleasure of having more attack. My initial impressions of this heroic are that A, that it's rock solid, and B, I'm probably going to lose. I'm going to need to go away, but there's no shame in that. I'm going to need to go away and think of a deck that will deal with this. And there we see the first horrible Rain of Fire. Flying down and just damaging me for 4, because there's nothing else. And then a Nerubian popping up from nowhere as well. Ugh. From the Nerubian egg itself. Okay, well I could brawl, that's not really going to benefit me hugely. Neither is a Cruel Taskmaster. I can't move either of those minions, I can only do 3 damage tops because I have no armour. Brawl I probably prefer to save for when there are more threats on the table, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to have to armour up. Next time I get Gorehowl, that will help me a bunch with control. Even though I get another Rain of Fire, 1 mana for that 4 damage. That is crazy.
The Widow embraces me!
And the Worshipper comes down again. The Widow can do 3 damage. And I think now it's time for a brawl because I'm on 13 health. Hail Mary! Hail Mary. Let's Hail Mary it. Okay, well that actually kind of kills him in the right order. So that saves me, but really right is then armour up for another turn. Oh no, it didn't kill them in the right order because the Worshipper is still alive. That's quite frustrating. So, do I want to swing or do I want to armour up? Armouring up potentially saves me for another turn or 2. So I'm going to have to do that.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
Ouch, painful. The Abusive Sergeant is then buffing up. Oh, Rain of Fire doing 4 damage for 1 mana. I don't have any minions on the table. So, thoughts. I need some control. I need area clearance. I think a Shaman deck might be quite good. Right, what can I do? Well, Unless I get a tank, I'm dead, pretty much. Or unless I can remove all of the minions, I'm also dead. Ragnaros is probably not going to help me. I need to Ragnaros and Hail Mary that this got removed. Even if I armour up, which I can't, then I can get killed by that abusive sergeant if I Gorehell next go. I think I need to fish cards and hope for a miracle here, so I'm going to slam, see what we get. The Acolyte of Pain is not going to help hugely. What I can do, I can Acolyte into... I would have had through 2 damage with a shield slam. I can remove it, but I would have probably died if I had to use my own hero.
I'm going to have enough mana.
No, I've messed that up. Ugh! Ugh! Ratius, you join us on the brink of defeat. We'll try one more time. We'll try one more time with a different deck and see if we can string it together. I can do that before heading up to work. So, as you can see, I've been overwhelmed. I've been overwhelmed by the Faerlinas. No. Cremation or burial. Control warriors. Yeah, I'm playing a control warrior, but the version I'm playing is Uber Tides control. Okay. I know Tides. Yeah. Anti-meta, anti-Uber. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, okay, so what does Tide do? Tide plays the Quilcron Elites. So this version I've got in has got 2 Brawl, which is pretty sociopathic, pretty crazy. Okay, well that's one game, so I think there's a perfect example. We've got just time for one more game, so let's, at the recommendation of Ratius, thank you for joining us in the chat. If you lose to one of these bosses, you should absolutely go take a look at your deck and see what you can change up. So this deck is excessive in terms of the amount of control it has, really rather excessive. It goes for the cleaves, but against this deck, cleaves aren't going to really help too much. So I'm going to drop the cleaves. I need to add another slam though, that I've removed by accident. That wasn't good. Let's get slam back in there. Now, we're going to try and tweak a little bit to the Tides version, which means we'll drop in a couple of Quilcron Elites. They'll give us some additional mid-game damage rather than the slightly situational cleave, which you can only use if your opponent's got 2 or more minions on the battlefield. Apart from that, oh yeah, we can drop down 1 slam to play with a bit of a Tides version. We can also drop down 1 brawl, and that frees us up more room for more minions. So we're going to throw in Sylvanas. I don't think Harrison. I do have a Harrison, but Harrison isn't going to help against Faerlina because she doesn't wield weapons, so we don't need to drop a Harrison in there. Faceless Manipulators, they could be very nice. Let's try those and see how they work out, copying some of Faerlina's nasty tricks. A Defender of Argus is an interesting pick into what is a control warrior. That will help us shield ourselves against some of Faerlina's swarming. On that side, you've got a Gnomish Inventor for a card draw and turning into a tank and an Azure Drake. I think this is an interesting deck. Do you know what? Cheers for this, Righteous. We might actually even try this on our next New Player Monday. I like this deck, it's fun, but then he also drops a Berserker for a Gnomish, and then we also grab in an Azure Drake. So the Gnomish Inventor will combo with the Argus for more tanking. That will help us against Faerlina. I can see that working well as well. And there's also one more drop that we've got to get rid of. We haven't added a Sylvanas or a Harrison Jones. We have an Alex Straza instead for late game reduction. I'm quite happy to keep that in there. The Tides anti-meta also doesn't go with Gorehell for control, interestingly. What else can we look at yanking? I'm going to leave this as is. I don't need a Harrison, I don't need a Sylvanas. The Azure Drake I like in the mid-game, but I think we can probably do without. Yeah, I can see this running a lot faster. I've been running off Kit Kats quite a bit. Okay, so you've seen us there. We've lost. We have dusted ourselves down. At the recommendation, we've seen some of the challenges we had there. We didn't really come out quite fast enough in many ways, so we have a faster warrior deck, and that faster warrior deck is Tides of Time, Control Warrior. Raitus has suggested that from the chat. Thank you very much. So let's see how with this slightly faster deck could work in terms of helping us out against the Grand Widow herself.
Naxxramas versus Grand Widow Faerlina.
I love the way that next boss though, yeah, I can imagine.
Victory or
Imagine how much pain he is. Well, she is the spider. Okay, I need to do a full mulligan. I need something a bit earlier drop. Yeah, I've played a few freeze mages. Freeze mages recommended for Naxxramas. We'll have a look at Naxxramas a little bit later today. Right, so let's see if our slightly faster control warrior can come out well. And the first thing we do is get that ability, Rain of Fire. Warlock's OP. I'm going to get my armor smith down. Does subtle Rain of Fire, at least I'm going to get 4 armor. Coining in, and going to be putting some more pressure on. Lovely stuff. The Worshipper comes out, 3 attack. Faerlina can immediately start working on chipping me away. And look, notice that by turn 2 I've lost 7 health already. This is a rush. A rush to the face. Okay, so what can I do? Well, getting rid of the Worshipper would be nice. And I can do that this time, happily. Whirlwind I'm not going to strike, but I'm going to just get myself armored up a bit. Now those Worshippers, as we saw, have only +1 attack in normal mode, +3 attack in this light mode. Just nasty. Down goes the Rubian Egg, buffed up and in a rage, dealing damage to a minion and giving it 2 attack. Means that will be able to attack next turn. So I'm not going to let that remove my armor smith. But what I am going to do is see if I can trigger it in the right order that I want. Okay, so if I drop an armor smith, if I then, let's work this carefully, if I armor up, I'm not going to shield slam. If I whirlwind, then I can stick 2 armor on and I still have the option of shield slamming 4 armor. That's lovely. Okay, so you can see that with that play order, the shield slam then lets me remove the ambusher, and with my axe and the final armor I can remove that, so leaving me 1 damage, 1 mighty damage I can charge with my armor smith. So there is use the runaway strategy. We run from nothing, we fail gloriously, or win. Nothing in between. A bold mission statement. Right, controlling that acolyte will let Faerlina draw, but I'm going to keep my control going. I'm going to buff up as well a bit. I don't really want to be losing my armor smiths, but not only will that pile on a bit more armor.
Strike!
And let me keep some pressure. Oh, this boss is indeed awesome. Oh, there goes the Worshipper, so Faerlina can start killing things from the nastiest threat first. That triggers a couple more armor before it perishes. And finally a Rain of Fire just to compound my misery. But because I've only got 1 card in my hand, it has minimised the damage, which is always good. I don't want to be brawling, so I'm going to Acolyte. Is there anything I want to control? Okay, well I can remove that Undertaker. That's fine, and I'll still live. Can armour up? No, I'm not going to sacrifice my armor smith until I have to, because while it stays on the table. And as Writers has mentioned also well in chat, the reason that Control Warrior is particularly cool against this is because Armor Smith and Acolyte will trigger if Faerlina decides to get too antsy with the Rain of Fire, and the random missiles can just trigger all of the nice effects that we love and Horrible did. Yep, so Faerlina's removed my Acolyte, but not only do I get armour, but I draw more cards as well. Now what do I want to face this here? A facer. I know exactly what I'm going to face this, and it's going to be sweet. Right, so faceless, none other than the Worshipper, and the reason for the Worshipper is that I can start going out and controlling. I like to control and get the nastiness off the table.
Problem.
I can even have the luxury of going into an execute. Oh, I did that in the wrong order. Silly. FailCraft fail. We should have taken out. We should have taken out the old Dark Cultist. In fact, yeah, maybe taking that out last would have been the best option if we could have taken it on the table. And look suddenly how nasty this becomes. 2 Worshippers on the table, and Faerlina can do 6 damage every go. Then giving a damage minion 3/3. Okay, right. So what can we do? Well, Core Chron Elite will certainly help us charge and remove some jazz from the table. That'll be good. However, I can't get rid of that worshipper. Do I want to Hail Mary for a brawl? I'm not going to Hail Mary for a brawl. I'm going to keep that alive on the table. I'm going to attack Faerlina a couple of times. I've still got sufficient armour, and I will still have a way or two. I can remove that worshipper.
Join or die, or both.
Okay, I'll slam. Right, I can slam and hopefully draw something. I might have to try and get a brawl away here, I think, just to disrupt some of the pain. Okay, right, so I'm going to sacrifice into that. I'm then going to brawl. Hopefully, yes, I managed to remove the nasty worshipper. There's some control, comes out. Oh, I didn't manage to remove the worshipper. Oh, what are the odds? Well, 3 and 1, 3 to 1. 1 and 3 that I didn't. Oh my god, this is getting so nasty.
Join me in death.
I'm a Necro Knight. If I can kill that, it kills the worshipper, but I may not live until then. Oh. This could be GG. Oh, look at that. What a top deck that was. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. Oh, that again was a mistake. Because I should have whirlwinded, and if I'd execute the Necro Knights, then it would have also killed me next to it. That was a big fail by me. That was a rush play. I could have taken both minion, execute value. So yeah, a silly little mistake. Well, we're still alive on the bright side. On the flip side, it's not going to be for long. Okay, what can I do? Well, really, this is kind of the only play that I have. And I got a little lucky there because by destroying that, I can destroy that and draw a card. Oh, and I draw an Argus, but Argus I don't think is going to help me. On the bright side, Mexina has nothing. We might still be in this. Oh no, but that nasty hero ability can shell me down unless I get all the cards out of my hand. Right, I can't afford to drop Getson. Oh, Naxxramas. The hero comes to kill us. Lovely. On the bright side, our opponent is running out of cards. The cards that they do have left are quite nasty. I've managed to re-heal, which is great. Now I can actually get myself into a very nice strong position. Warhowl. Now, do I want to start controlling now? Or do I want to tank up? I'm going to try and go for a control play.
I cannot.
Rain of Fire is just going to chip away at me. I'm going to need to armor. Yep. I need to play with as little mistakes as possible. Yep, this is FailCraft for a reason. Do you know who you're talking to? To be fair, I used to be a lot more patient card game player than I am nowadays. I used to play some semi-competitive games and things like that. Okay, we've given Faerlina a bit more card draw, but it looks as though that from being on the brink of precipice, we're actually coming back to a victory. Even though the Worshipper has 3 attack, even though the Rain of Fire will do 3, they're not going to be able to remake our minions, so we will have lethal Nyx go. Okie dokie! Yeah! 2 out of 3 down. Heroic downed. Loving it.
Faerlina means nothing.
The Spider Queen may well dispatch me easy. Right, so that is us for the moment. Thank you oh so much for tuning in to the Hearthstone half hour, but in terms of a show, it's not been a half hour. Our special Curse of Naxxramas playthroughs and guides. We have been having a go at Heroic mode. This little episode was about Grand Widow Faerlina. We failed miserably on the first go with our Control Warrior, and then thank you for the suggestion for the deck. Big thanks to Ratius, who jumped in and said, hey, you know what, you should give a different Tides control warrior a go, and that more aggression in the early game actually helped us control Faerlina a lot more early. So an example of a loss, tweaking your deck and then going to victory in a heroic mode battle. It's absolutely fine to lose, it helps you learn, and you can have more fun in terms of finding strategies to win next time. So if you're watching this on YouTube, as a little sign-off, if you have not seen us before, then you can find us at youtube.com/FailCraft Casts. Go and have a look at all of the videos we have there. We have more Curse of Naxxramas, more good videos dropping, as well as the Hearthstone half hour, about 80 episodes of that. We do Arena, we do constructed decks, new player decks for beginners, new to intermediate concepts, and just having a bunch of fun around Hearthstone and with the people who tune in on our chat every day. So thank you. You can always see when we go live on Twitch, and that's twitch.tv/FailCraft Cast. Note there's no S on the end of that. And we go live Monday through Friday UK time, around about 7 to 8 PM UK time. However, you can find out when we're going to go live at FailCraft Casts on Twitter. Do just throw us a tweet whenever. We love chatting games. And last but not least, the website is failcraft.org. There you can find all of the videos, blogs, and also some new player guides and links and things that don't live so well on video. So thank you so much for tuning in. More Curse of Naxxramas coming up over the next few days, and indeed over the next few weeks. Don't forget there's a wing a week, so we're going to be doing this every week for the next 4 weeks. Very much enjoying it. I've been Hammy. Hope to see you soon.